The scene script. Have you ever wondered how atoms combine to form molecules? It's a fascinating process, and it all begins with atomic and molecular orbitals. Atomic orbitals are regions around the nucleus of an atom where electrons reside. Imagine a cloud around the nucleus, where the density of this cloud represents the probability of finding an electron. This cloud is the atomic orbital, a fundamental concept in quantum mechanics. Each atomic orbital is defined by a set of quantum numbers that describe its size, shape, and orientation. Now let's turn our attention to molecular orbitals. These are the result when atomic orbitals interact. Essentially, when atoms come together to form molecules, their atomic orbitals combine to create molecular orbitals. This process is akin to two waves meeting and either reinforcing or cancelling each other out. The result is a new wave, or in this case, a new molecular orbital. One key difference between atomic and molecular orbitals lies in their energy levels. While atomic orbitals each have a distinct energy level, molecular orbitals can have either higher or lower energy levels than the original atomic orbitals. To understand this better, let's consider quantum numbers. These are like the addresses for electrons, telling us exactly where they live in an atom. In atomic orbitals, there are 4 quantum numbers. The first 3 identify the orbital and the fourth one describes the spin state of the electron. On the other hand, molecular orbitals are described by only 1 quantum number, as they represent the combination of 2 or more atomic orbitals. In essence, atomic and molecular orbitals form the basis of chemical bonding. They dictate how atoms share their electrons, how they come together, and how they form the diverse range of molecules that make up our world. So, atomic and molecular orbitals play a key role in how atoms bond together to form molecules. Now that we understand atomic and molecular orbitals, let's delve into how atoms' orbitals can hybridize to form molecular orbitals. Imagine a party where everyone is seeking a dance partner. In the atomic world, this dance is called hybridization. It's a process where atomic orbitals mix to form new, identical orbitals. The main players in this atomic dance are carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. Let's start with carbon. Carbon's electron configuration is 1s2 2s2 2p2. It has 2 unpaired electrons ready to form bonds. However, carbon doesn't limit itself to just 2 bonds. It undergoes sp3 hybridization, merging its 2s and 3 2p orbitals into 4 identical sp3 orbitals. These orbitals can form 4 bonds, explaining carbon's role in creating complex structures like diamonds and living organisms. Next, nitrogen. Nitrogen has 3 unpaired electrons and undergoes sp3 hybridization, similar to carbon. But there's a twist. One of the sp3 orbitals is occupied by a lone pair of electrons, leading nitrogen to typically form 3 bonds. This is why we often see nitrogen creating tri-bonded structures in nature. And finally, oxygen. Oxygen has 2 unpaired electrons and also undergoes sp3 hybridization. But like nitrogen, 2 of its sp3 orbitals are occupied by lone pairs, leaving oxygen to form 2 bonds. This characteristic is why oxygen often creates structures like water and oxygen gas. So how does hybridization contribute to the formation of covalent bonds? Well, these newly formed hybrid orbitals can overlap with orbitals from other atoms, sharing electrons and forming covalent bonds. In this way, atoms achieve stability through a full set of valence electrons. For instance, in a water molecule, the oxygen atom hybridizes its orbitals to form 2 bonds with hydrogen atoms. These bonds are covalent, as the hydrogen and oxygen atoms share electrons, leading to a stable water molecule. Through hybridization, atoms can form strong covalent bonds, creating stable molecules. But remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The world of bonding is complex and fascinating, with each atom dancing its unique dance to create the world around us. But what happens when these bonds break? This is where bond fission and electronegativity come into play. Bond fission is the process through which covalent bonds are broken. This can occur in 2 ways: homolytic and heterolytic fission. In homolytic fission, the bond breaks evenly, and each atom gets 1 electron from the bond, forming 2 radicals. On the other hand, heterolytic fission is a bit biased. 1 atom takes both electrons, leaving the other in the lurch. Now this is where electronegativity steps in. It's essentially a measure of an atom's greed for electrons. The atom with higher electronegativity often wins the tug of war in heterolytic fission, walking away with both electrons and leaving the other atom positively charged. In essence, these 2 concepts are like the dance of chemistry. Bonds break, atoms vie for electrons, and new bonds form. This constant push and pull, breaking and forming, is what drives chemical reactions. So, electronegativity and bond fission are crucial aspects of how and why chemical reactions occur. Another important type of bonding is hydrogen bonding. But how does it influence chemical reactions? Let's dive in and find out. Hydrogen bonding is a special type of dipole-dipole attraction between molecules, not a covalent bond to a hydrogen atom. It results from the attractive force between a hydrogen atom covalently bonded to a very electronegative atom such as a nitrogen, oxygen, or fluorine, and another very electronegative atom. Now, how does it differ from covalent bonding? Well, in a covalent bond, electrons are shared between atoms to fill their outer shells and achieve stability. In contrast, a hydrogen bond is more of an electrostatic attraction. It's much weaker than a covalent bond, but still plays a crucial role in shaping the physical and chemical properties of compounds. But how does hydrogen bonding influence reaction mechanisms? Now that's an interesting question. In a chemical reaction, the reaction mechanism is the step-by-step sequence of reactions by which the overall chemical change occurs. Hydrogen bonding can influence these mechanisms by stabilizing or destabilizing intermediates in the reaction. For example, in the case of water, a polar molecule, the hydrogen bonds hold the substance together, affecting its boiling and melting points. This in turn influences the rates and outcomes of reactions that occur in water. It also plays a significant role in biochemical reactions within our bodies. For instance, hydrogen bonds between the DNA's base pairs help hold the double helix together. They are weak enough to be broken and reformed during DNA replication, allowing our cells to divide and our bodies to grow. In essence, hydrogen bonding can control how a reaction proceeds, what intermediates are formed, and what the final products will be. It can even influence how fast a reaction will occur. Hydrogen bonding and reaction mechanisms are key to understanding how complex chemical reactions occur. It's like exploring an intricate dance, where every move is carefully choreographed to create a stunning performance. The world of chemistry is indeed a fascinating one, isn't it? Now let's discuss two vital concepts in chemistry, the steric and inductive effect. The steric effect is all about physical space. It's the influence exerted by an atom, owing to its size and spatial orientation, on the reactivity of a molecule. Picture a crowded room where everyone's elbowing for space. The larger the atom, the more room it needs, and this can affect how well it reacts with other atoms. On the other hand, the inductive effect is more about the pull of electrons along a chain of atoms in a molecule. Think of it as a tug-of-war of electrons. More electronegative atoms pull the electron cloud towards themselves, making the molecule polar and influencing its reactivity. These effects significantly impact organic chemistry. They can alter the stability of molecules, dictate their shapes, and even determine the course of a chemical reaction. The steric and inductive effects can greatly influence the behavior of molecules in a chemical reaction. Finally, let's take a look at three more fascinating concepts: resonance, hyperconjugation, and tautomerism. Resonance is a phenomenon that occurs when there are multiple valid ways to draw a molecule's Lewis structure. It's like a molecule having multiple identities, each contributing to its overall character. The actual molecule is often a hybrid of these identities, which leads to a more stable structure. Imagine a superhero with multiple powers. The combined powers make the superhero stronger and more versatile. That's resonance for you. Next, we have hyperconjugation. This is a special type of resonance that involves sigma bonds. It's like a secret handshake between sigma and pi bonds, where the sigma bond donates electron density to an adjacent empty or partially filled p orbital or a pi bond. This interaction results in the delocalization of electrons, enhancing the stability of the molecule. Think of it as a supportive friend who is always there, providing strength and stability in challenging times. Lastly, let's delve into tautomerism. This is a fascinating process where a molecule rapidly interconverts between two or more structural forms, known as tautomers. It's like a quick change artist, constantly shifting between different personas. This interconversion usually occurs by the transfer of a proton, and it significantly impacts the reactivity and properties of a molecule. So how do these concepts fit into the grand scheme of things? Well, they all contribute to the stability of molecules and affect how chemical reactions occur. Resonance distributes electron density more evenly in a molecule, reducing areas of high reactivity. Hyperconjugation further stabilizes molecules by delocalizing more electrons. Tautomerism, on the other hand, allows molecules to adapt to different conditions, enhancing their reactivity when needed. So understanding resonance, hyperconjugation, and tautomerism is essential for a deeper understanding of chemistry. They are like the unsung heroes, silently shaping the world of molecules and reactions. And remember, in the realm of chemistry, every bit of knowledge counts. Subscribe for more mind-blowing insights into the world of chemistry.